Hi to all, here we are for our next lesson, and as you can see on screen, I've just brought up our last render, and as you can see, I've had to add a V-Ray sun just because I was looking through my aerial, which is going to serve as a base plate, and I'll just show you. And as you can see, the direction of the sun is coming from more or less here, which is more or less the direction in which my concept image has the sun coming from. And I found that it also just added a little more depth to the image. Although I'll be kind of painting all this in post, it just adds a little something. And I can bring out those highlights on the trees and bring it out a little more on the building itself. So okay, let's get started and then start bringing in those passes. You can do this various ways, but this time I'm actually working to the backplate. And what that means is that I'm going to bring in the renders and just place them on top of this backplate, as I've used that in also in 3D Max as my backplate, just to get an idea of the perspective itself. Okay, so I'll just Control A and I will click File and I'll come down, I'll click Place, and I'll start to place these one by one. So I'll click my RGB color, that's okay. I'll Control A again, and I will place the next ones. So I'll come in and I'll probably just start from the top. And as you can see, by placing them, what does this mean? It just means that every single one of them is getting placed within the same position as the others. So just turn that down, and as you can see, it's just placed across the position. Another thing, as you can see, that my render, it's only around this square. That just means I just rendered this region just because there was no necessity to render everything out. And what does placing the images mean? It just means that futurely I can alter and I can change the images as I want, and I can just Control T and transform them. And when I click again, I can just go into the replace contents when I right click, and I can just bring in the same image and just replace it on top. So I'll continue just placing them out. As you can see, we've got our mats, and just Control A, and I'll keep on placing them. And like so, that one doesn't actually have anything, so Control A, place, keep placing. So I'm just going to pause here for a while I keep on adding to these, because this is a bit repetitive, so just give me an instant. Okay, so here we are. I've just placed all our render passes, and as you can see, they're all named out on the right side. I'll just flick through them just so you can see. Generally, what I'll do is I'll separate the ones that let me select. So I'll just call this masks, normal, just normal masks, and just selection masks. Let's actually call this overlay masks. And I'll start just dividing these up into the masks that will let me select and the masks that I'll use to overlay on our render. So under OB, and I'll just switch those off. So V-Ray reflection. So these overlay masks, they will let me increase and add more depth, and also just make the render come out a little more. Lighting, V-Ray normals, that goes into selection, V-Ray lighting, extra text. That's our ambient occlusion, by the way. We'll be talking about that a little further on. So let's diffuse filter, and we have our mats, which I will just select. Okay, and we have our RGB channel. So here we go, we have our RGB and we have our overlays. So I think we'll talk about the overlays masks in the next chapter of this tutorial. And we'll get more in depth about that in the next lesson. We'll learn a little more how to control and make everything just look a little spicier and better. So I'll see you in the next lesson.